So welcome, I'm Susan Harden here with AGS, and I'll be your presenter today, sort of jogging us through rather quickly in this short meeting for our WORC live product demo. So congrats to all of you on your grants. I know there's probably some WORC 4, some WORC 5, and some WORC 6 people that are here and maybe joining us as well. We're doing an afternoon session, so each one of these sessions is a little bit small, but I like to do a morning and an afternoon session just to help people with schedules. So here's just a picture being worth 1,000 words. Some of our customers who are using any one of our federal grants. And so our agenda for today really comes out of the email invite. So there's no bait and switch, no smoke and mirrors here. We're going to spend just a few minutes, if you'll allow me, to just introduce AGS, just so you know kind of who we are. And then we're going to dive right into a live product walkthrough, not just a bunch of slides. If you're like me and you attend these kinds of sessions, and I know Deborah, we've done this once before, at least I had some conversations, getting in to see a live demo is far more interesting and important than seeing screen captures in a PowerPoint slide. So we're going to go through a live demo. We're going to focus first on the compliance portion of your grants, running a WIPS report, looking at some of the data entry and some business logic in the case management business process that is the architecture of our federal grants, and then the quick 1, 2, 3s of what does it look like to implement. That's always a question people want to know. And that'll be it. So we'll be done here in about 25 minutes, more or less, and have time for questions and discussion, as anybody wants to stick around. So very quickly, a little bit about AGS. That's an acronym for American Government Services. It's just easier to say AGS. We are actually celebrating our 25th year here at AGS this year. So we have been around. We are not new to this business. We have always really specialized in workforce grants and workforce projects and the employment and training and education and training industry. We have spent years focused on providing compliant data management systems and reporting systems for Pearl and WIPS reporting. So we are very much Pearl subject matter experts. Myself and a small team here at AGS really focus on staying on top of these federal grants. We are really known for our personal service. We provide unlimited and unmetered administrative technical support for all of our grantees. We have a variety of organizations nationwide that are using our products, typically as a software as a service, an SaaS, if you're familiar with that term, for Department of Labor, Department of Commerce for EDA for Good Jobs Challenge grants, Department of Energy for the Training Center, the IATC grants, and Department of Defense and Department of Education. So lots and lots of grant pre-built turnkey compliant applications as templates, if I can use that word, for a dozen or more federal grants that our customers have to be compliant for their federal reporting, whether it's WIPS reporting or EDA reporting. They come to us, and if we have one of those templates, it's really, kind of back up the bus, turn the system on, provide you training and support, and you're ready to go for, pressing the magic button for WORC in this case today, pressing the magic button to produce your WIPS report on a quarterly basis and toggle over to the WIPS system and upload your report. So that's a little bit about AGS. We are going to focus today on WORC. And again, this is a pre-built compliant application, turnkey system that keeps all of the WORC grant data management and WIPS reporting updates at your disposal, so you don't have to keep track of that stuff. We keep your systems up to date as the feds make changes. And work grants, they've been around for a million years. For some reason, they're making lots of changes recently. So we keep the system up to date for you, for both the data entry, business logic, and WIPS reporting. So all of that is really handled for you. The system is designed to help you track your participants, demographics, trainings, certs, certifications, employments, case notes, measurable skills gains or MSGs, and attachments. And that's all part of this case management business process that the application is designed to support. There is a built-in integrated employer outreach module. You can use it, don't need to. There's no WIPS reporting requirements out of the employer outreach module. But because you are undoubtedly working with employers and reaching out and trying to get employers to be part of your project and infrastructure, we've always felt it just makes sense to make it easy for you to have that CRM built right into your case management tool. So that's available to you as well, and you'll see that in just a minute. And that's the kind of data you can capture in the employer CRM. So, of course, you've got reporting capabilities. We've already discussed that. WIPS reporting, QPR, canned reports. I'll show you some of the reports and the queries that we have in the system. And I'll be quick, but this is all going to be recorded, so you can come back and look at it at your leisure in the recording. And then afterwards, if you have questions as well, or want to get together with me personally for kind of a slower walkthrough, absolutely. My contact information is here, and we can get together whenever you want. So that's all I've got to say about sort of the intro side. Any questions about that, use chat or just unmute yourselves and ask me a question. And if nothing at the moment, I'll keep an eye on chat. I'm going to toggle over to my application and show you Prime. Okay, everybody's nodding their heads. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Okay. I trust you are all seeing my screen. This is my demo domain. Just a really quick side note, all of our customers are hosted on Amazon Web Services or AWS. All of our customers have their own dedicated virtualized web server. So this is a single tenant environment, which is very important if you're taking notes for PII. It's obviously an important aspect when you're dealing with federal grants, DOL in particular. We have been vetted hundreds and hundreds of times around how our architecture and infrastructure supports PII. Happy to have additional conversations or provide additional information on that as well. But for today, just know that everyone has their own domain. I'm in demo.agsprime.net. So here's what my application looks like. This is what all of our customers' applications look like. Of course, you have your own logo up here, not example community college. This text is all editable by you, so it's you can have whatever intro language you want here. But the menu across the top, we call these modules. I can make this a little bit bigger. Is standard as part of the template. So as I kind of navigate across here, we have our participant management module. This is where all of the participant data resides. We'll come back to this after we sort of jog through reports so you can see what the case management process looks like and entering data as a case manager or as a self-registrant. We also have a self-registration module. Should you want to deploy self-reg so that this initial demographic information can be exposed to potential participants through your partner organization's website, if you want to deploy it that way, or have a centralized self-registration form from Prime in your main organization, your grantee website. Either way, you can make these QR codes, you can email this out, whatever the case might be. And that data then from self-registration begins to reside here in the participant management module, segregated off as not yet reviewed. So all of the data that's coming in from the web for your potential participants comes into your centralized case management system, ready for review by a staff user to decide whether or not this person is Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck, et cetera, and that they are, in fact, they should be enrolled in the grant program. And all of your reviewed participants sit here ready for staff members to decide if they're going to move them on to being enrolled in the grant. And again, we'll come back to this in more detail. Your employer management module is really the CRM for employers, keeping track of employer profiles, contacts, activities, outreach, employer attachments if you want to keep track of timesheets or work experience contracts or whatever the case might be that you want to keep track in the employer CRM, you can do that as well. We've tossed open the self-reg, you've seen that. Each application has an admin module so that the application administrators can manage your, and I do all the staff training, so you will manage your own staff organizations as part of your, if you're part of a consortium. All of the staff users, as you can see here, I have a list of staff users. You'll manage all of your own staff users. You'll manage the user roles, the rights that your staff users should have or not have, as the case may be. It's all under your control. You'll keep track of your service, your catalogs for NAICS, ONET, credentialing, your program of study. We call that the training catalog. All of, and the services, all of these catalogs are under your control, and I train you how to manage these catalogs. It's very simple. You type in the title, assign it to a reportable category for WIPS reporting, and save it, and that it's now available for data entry on the staff side. Let me jump to reports. This is obviously a huge reason why people come to us, because WIPS reporting is a little bit overwhelming, and maybe if you're new to these kinds of grants, it's like, what is WIPS? So when you click on reports, we present to you a small handful of canned reports that we've already created for you. First among equal, of course, is your WIPS report. We also provide for you a QPR, which looks just like the federal QPR. You can run these reports whenever you want to as grant managers. We give you queries. I'll come back to that in a minute, don't worry. We give you queries where you can download every field from every form. We just call these queries. So you can take out all of your demographic data, your participant data, for example, and take it out to a worksheet if you wanted to send mass emails or do a postcard mailing, or if you're capturing phone numbers, do phone calls. Whatever you want to use for downloading this data, you can absolutely do so and get access right to that application. Oops. So that's just what queries look like. Again, every field from every form is at your disposal 24/7. It's your data. We simply host it. You can grab it whenever you want and use it for your own analytics to do whatever you want to with it. We also give you a couple of what we call dashboards, just some graphical reports that have parameters built right into the reports. These kinds of reports get really exciting when you start having a lot of data. Most of our customers, I won't say all because I don't know, but I know most of our customers use these dashboards that we provide, as well as building their own dashboards using queries as augment reports to their quarterly narrative reports, to your Q&R. So here's just another example where we just provide this sort of picture being worth 1,000 words for some of the key attributes of demographic information. It may not be everything You can export your own data and build your own queries in Excel should you want to, but we kind of give you this sort of couple of starter sets of dashboards. Super, super popular to include with narratives. Everybody loves pictures. Your FPOs, the feds love these graphical reports. So let's go back here to the WIPS report and show you what all of our customers do. This looks exactly like what all of our customers do. I just happen to be in my demo site. They're going to select their funding source. My demo is loaded with work round 6, but that will be for whatever your work round is. The next reporting cycle is going to be 2024 Q4, which is going to be due February 15th. For demo purposes, I'll include the header. We always give you an error checking file here, even though we're doing field to field business logic error checking, so you can't enter bad data on forms. There are a handful of fields that are WIPS computed fields that we can't check until we run a WIPS report, where we have to compute two or more fields together. And so if there are errors, we always have an error checking file for you, so you never knowingly submit a prime WIPS report with errors. We always stop you. You can add some additional fields if you want, again, for your own analytics. I am going to say yes, ignore the error file just for today because I think I have errors. If you are part of a consortium and you want to run a WIPS report and just kind of stay on top of it on behalf of your partner agencies, you as application administrators have that control. If you're submitting this off to the feds, you would always leave it as this. And then you would go ahead and run your report. For time, I'm just gonna launch one of my reports. Oh, here it is. There it is. Don't convert. I'll make this a little bit bigger. I know it's a lot of stuff. So yes, I included the header just so you all can kind of see that if you're getting familiar with Perl, you're very familiar, I imagine, with the header associated with the Perl. So what we're doing is converting all of those human readable values on the forms and converting them to the aliases required by WIPS and dropping all of that into this spreadsheet. So if you're familiar with this report, I'm going to scoot over to the far right. You know it ends with column EF, the SOC. So in real life, you will now have your WIPS report. You would not have included the header. You would close this file, you'd toggle over to the feds, and this file would have been downloaded to wherever you download data, to your network or to your computer or whatever your situation is. Toggle over to WIPS, attach this file to the WIPS upload interface, which I don't have access to WIPS, so I can't demonstrate that, but it's the standard upload file interface, and your file is now uploaded. That's all there is to it. You can also then, oh, you're not seeing my screen, are you? Are you seeing, you are, oh, you are seeing my WIPS report. Okay, good.
Yeah, we see it.
Fabulous, thanks. You never know. Okay. We can run a QPR, and again, I just want to show this to you so that you can, get a sense of what's here. Again, you can run this QPR for your individual organizations or as a whole. This is not a report that you send off to the feds, but it is a report that, like WIPS, we certainly encourage our customers to run every couple of weeks. So you can really stay, this is rendering here, so you can stay on top of your data as grant managers. Project management 101, right? Eliminate surprise. So we try to put these kinds of reports in your hands. You can see this is laid out pretty, just like the federal report, even though you're never going to submit this, but you'll want to always look at this and run it and compare our numbers with whatever the feds send you back to make sure they match. They should always match. If they don't, I will be the first email you send to say what's happening if something's amiss. If that happens, it's really only because the feds made a change or didn't make a change, as the case may be, that they said they were going to. We may have made the change faster. This may be a little out of sync. That happens very rarely, but we tend to be able to make changes faster than SPR gets their changes made. So that happens. Anyway, there's your QPR. Here we are. So these are your reports. Really quickly, I want to just show you what the code book looks like. As analysts here in the call, I'm in my demo, so I have lots of code books. I'm going to open up my WORC WIPS CSV file code book. This is really the under the hood, everything about your Pearl data and how that relates to Prime. So we expose everything that the Pearl is asking for and how that relates to Prime. So you can always find out what we're doing to support Pearl data. This is really your Bible for all things Pearl. If you want to get to, this has a search capability, everybody's favorite field, 1813, the education, the date completed during program participation, education, or training. This is going to be one of your most important fields over time. So we want to make sure that you can do a search and get super educated about this field. If you want to search for everything relating to incumbent workers, you just do a search and type ahead. So this gives you everything there is to know about what the Pearl is asking for and where that relates in Prime. Taking that really big spreadsheet that's kind of hard to sift through sometimes, just make it available to you sort of at your fingertips. So that's reports. Let me take a quick dive back over to participants so you can see what the data input side looks like that's helping to generate all those reports. I'm going to pick on my favorite test customer, Buddy Holly. So here's this case management business process that we have architected here to support hopefully a familiar and logical data flow of data entry while capturing all of the required fields for WIPs and giving you the ability to sort of color outside the lines as well for data that may not be WIPs oriented, but may be related to the kind of data that you want to collect. So we do give you that flexibility. So here's this participant profile from the staff perspective. You can see it looks very similar to the self-reg side, like eye color, not a WIPs field, but you can add other fields. That's my example of being able to add another kind of field should you want to. But the fields, these are the fields required for Pearl, the only allowed values. We also include the Pearl help text for every single Pearl field that's here. All of that is baked into the architecture for ease of data entry and accuracy of data entry. So quick example of business logic here in the employment and training section. If I say I am employed, I can certainly be underemployed, right? Aren't we all? But we cannot be employed and also long-term unemployed. Right? We get an on-screen error, and now my save button is no longer live. So Prime is going to do everything we can on the data input side, keeping track of the business logic, the validation rules, and the required fields and aliasing and the values on these forms to help guide you through data entry. We have some additional fields on the form. Obviously, are not all part of required WIPs reporting, but the kinds of fields that many of our customers have asked to be retained on the form just for additional situational awareness. Don't have to have them. We can remove them should you want to. Moving quickly through this then, we document their grant enrollment. Follow up as need be. We document their training program enrollment. This is their training program. The feds refer to this as the program of study. The training program is one of those catalogs that you as administrators are trained to fill in to meet what you wrote in your proposal. This is just from my demo site. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. So if we have healthcare or nursing or advanced manufacturing or welding, whatever the case might be, the program or programs of study that are part of your grant, the feds don't care about this language, but we've always put this kind of thing here for our customers, because that's the kind of analytics you want to be able to do as you're navigating through and closing out this grant and being able to understand clearly what type of programs of study people went through and what were the outcomes. We're going to keep track of the individual trainings, the credentials attained. These are just individual records. Everybody's seen fields and forms, so I'm not going to go through all of this, but we're inheriting certain values so that we're eliminating data entry, but stitching all of that data together for analytics, for both WIPS reporting to produce a record, a participant record, but also giving you the ability for your own analytics. And then, of course, go back to Buddy, we're keeping track of measurable skills gains, services, employment, case notes, attachments, should you want to. Case notes and attachments have nothing to do with WIPS, but it's just a common piece of information that our customers really want to have in this consolidated application. Really quickly, I want to just, before we wrap, on services, here's that services catalog that I showed you in the admin module. Here's how this renders here. And this is a keyword list or a table that you as administrators are going to manage, have your own sets of services here. I have a customer in Mississippi. One of their supportive services is hurricane relief, right? Not something that happens, in Vermont on a regular basis. But so the point is, everything to the left of the dash is what we report to the feds. Everything to the right of the dash is what you get to report on and keep track of yourself. We also give you a cost field here. Should you want to use it, we do not report costs to the feds, but particularly around supportive services, this has been a wildly popular attribute to this particular form and for your own individual analytics and reporting. Woo! So that's a lot. I want to jump really quickly back to my slide deck and get us wrapped up really quickly. So value proposition, hopefully you see it's quickly deployable because it's turnkey, back up the bus, turn it on, etc. Lots of training and support. Hopefully you've been able to see the kinds of reports that we put at your fingertips, and that it looks easy to use, straightforward. And hopefully that we've named the forms sort of logically, so your grantees don't have to have all the WIPS, and Perl stuff memorized, which would be crazy. Implementation, super simple. We have a one-page order form, get it signed, we turn your site on. Again, every one of our customers has their own virtualized web service. It's all segregated data. There's no one big pool of work data amongst our customers. Everybody is separated. Schedule your live training. Again, I provide all of the application admin trainings. I'm one of the subject matter experts in our company, and I manage all of that training. And then you go live. That's it. Pretty straightforward stuff for a complex grant. Any questions about any of that? I know that was really a whirlwind of stuff.
Thanks for that, Susan.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks for being here.
In terms of pricing structure and how that expense can be applied to the grants, do you have any context on that?
Well, a couple of things. One, I know that a lot of organizations put line items in for data management, and if you did, you're in great shape. FPOs love that because you already have it. You already have some allocation there. If you don't, I can share with you a colleague of ours who doesn't is a partner of ours, Mason Bishop, who is an expert at helping WORC grantees and other DOL grantees work through budget stuff, especially around data management. I'm happy to share his information. Um, um, Most of our customers go through a really simplified process because a lot of FPOs know us because we've been doing this for a million years and provide this kind of support for dozens and dozens of DOL grants. So if you mention Prime, they more often than not, although I know there's a sort of a new batch of FPOs right now who may not know us, but more often than not, they'll say, "Oh yeah, Prime."
Got it. Thank you for that. Love that
Sure.
contact.
Absolutely. I'll make sure to send Mason Bishop. I'll send you Mason Bishop's email information. I think he's out of West Virginia. West Virginia or Virginia, one of the two. And I have your email, Terry.
Yes, I believe you should. It's trevor@kyhortcouncil.org.
Okay. Got it. Anything else? Okay. Well, thank you all very much. I know I'm 3 minutes over time. I'm sorry about that, but I appreciate everybody's time today. I know everybody's super busy. It's like I cannot believe it's only the second week after the holidays, and it feels like we've been here for 6 months already. But anyway, thank you so much again. Congrats on your grant. I will shoot an email out with that email, Terry or Trevor rather, and also the YouTube playlist link that will have this recording, and you can share it as you wish.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Take care. Bye bye.